Hello and welcome to Flying Bobbins. I'm Liz and today I'm going to talk you through how to make the Kira slouch bag by Flying Bobbins. This is my latest bag pattern. It's one that I've been thinking about doing for a little while. A really nice, easy to wear slouch bag, great for kind of smart casual wear, for taking out at the weekend. It's a simple kind of hobo design. It's fairly easy to make. It's fully lined. You've got a zip pocket on the inside, and my favourite bit actually is this really stylish jumbo tassel that you have at the front, and that's loads of fun to make as well. Now this Kira slouch bag or Kira hobo bag features as the Flying Bobbins High Five Club project of the month for May. If you're not already a member, then you can join up. Just go straight to flyingbobbins.com and follow the instructions there for joining the High Five Sew Along Club. And I'll pop a link to that in the description box below. And with your High Five Club membership, you will get a monthly video series. Each month features a new exciting pattern for you to follow. You'll also get 5% off any of the associated kits or patterns for that month. And if you join the premium membership for £20 a month, you will also get a paper copy of the pattern through the post as well. Now, I'm going to be making my Kira bag today using a Flying Bobbins kit. This one that I already made, this is using an Avalon kind of a velveteen faux suede effect fabric. It's actually a very short pile velvet with this kind of vintage gold foil effect here, which is very beautiful and unique. And this fabric is actually available in 3 different colourways. So I'm going to use a kit that's in the Santiago false leather fabric. So I'm going to show you what's inside that kit now. So here's my Flying Bobbins bag kit here. And if you want to use your own fabric, you can also just simply buy the pattern, which is available as a paper pattern or a PDF download. But in my kit, I have everything I need to make this bag, and I'll list through the supplies now. So if you are making this with your own supplies, you can also follow along. So I've got a reel of top stitch thread, and this is for the top stitch detail, which features at the front of the bag here. Now with the Avalon fabric, which is a kind of a velvet, I'm just going to say do your top stitch with a normal thread. So with the Avalon kit, you will get a normal weight thread in your kit. And the reason why is that the velvet makes the top stitch thread unravel a little when it's going through your machine. But with the leatherette kit, you will get a top stitch thread to match your fabric. And of course, I've just popped that there, but you're also going to get a top stitch needle in your kit as well. And again, if you're using the other fabrics, you will just be able to use your universal sewing machine needle. Continuing on with the trims and notions, you will get a tassel cap, and this is quite a chunky tassel cap to accommodate that beautiful large tassel that hangs down at the front of the bag, and it's also got quite a nice large loop there for threading it onto its thong. And there's a magnetic snap to close the bag at the top. The inside of the bag features a pocket, and there's a zip there for you to make your pocket with for the interior of the bag. There's a piece of fusible fleece, that's Vliceline medium loft fusible fleece for the bag lining. And then for the outer of the bag, I've included a piece of Decoville light leatherette fusible interfacing, which will give the base of the bag just a little bit of stiffness to help to maintain the lovely shape of the bag. You will get a piece of lining, and if you're making this at home, you need about 1 metre of fabric for your lining and your pocket elements for the inside of the bag. And I'm using a Dashwood twist in metallic gold. That's 100% cotton. You'll have the fabric for the actual bag, and this is the Santiago leatherette in bronze. This is also available in a pewter grey colour as well, and it's got a beautiful pearlised sheen to it and a leather-like grain. But in fact, it's extremely easy to sew with because it's backed onto this lovely woven backing, making it really easy to manage and really easy to work with. And you can sew that with a universal needle. There's a piece of regular medium weight everyday interfacing. And lastly, a piece of Bonder web. And this is a double-sided fuse that you would use normally for attaching an applique or a detail to the front of something. It's you iron it on one side and then you peel it back and it's gluey on both sides. It's called Bonder web, and we're going to use that to help us make the tassel and the strap for the tassel. Lastly but not leastly, you're going to have your Flying Bobbins Kira Slouch bag pattern, which includes all the pattern pieces that you need. And like I say, that is available from flyingbobbins.com. Now that we've gone through all of our supplies, let's pop those to one side and we'll take a look at the pattern. So this is an A0 size pattern if you're printing this off from a PDF. You've got a checklist up in the corner here of everything you need. Just instructions that says to print on A0 and a test square of 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres. And then you've got all of your pattern pieces on there. So the first thing to do is to go around and cut out round the edge of these pattern pieces, ready to cut out your fabric. So I've cut out all of my paper pieces and I'm now ready to start cutting out my fabric. And I'm going to start with the main outer bag fabric. Now if you're working with the Avalon suede velvety fabric, then don't forget that to get the pile the right way round, so you want it to be stroking this way down, so your top of your bag is at the top and the bottom is at the bottom, so that the pile is all facing down. So likewise, if you're using a patterned fabric, just think about the fact that you want everything to be facing the right way up. With the leatherette, it's not quite so obvious or important, but this is how I'm going to lay it out, which would be the same for if you're using a patterned or a fabric with a pile. The only piece that you need to cut two of is the main piece, piece A. So what I've done is I've taken my piece of fabric, which is 80 centimetres long by 150 wide, and I have just folded that in half up to accommodate that main bag panel piece. So that's going to sit there. So I'm aligning this line here with my selvage. And then all the other pieces are just cut one, so I can cut those all on the single and I don't need to cut a pair of anything. And I'm just going to lay them down like so. That gives me a nice piece of spare fabric. So if my tassel doesn't go right the first time round, I've got lots of spare fabric to play with, but it's great to have some nice scraps because you can then make a little matching purse or a zip pouch or something fun like that. And it's nice fabric to have a little play with. So that's how you're going to lay it out. And I'm actually just going to use weights and a rotary cutter. I prefer that with this fabric simply because I don't want to use pins to pierce the leather. So I'm just going to use weights and a rotary cutter. You could use weights and scissors if you don't have a rotary cutter. So I'm going to just weigh that down now and just cut it out. By the way, don't worry about these lines here. Yours will be, won't have this. This is just because it's my test pattern and I've made a couple of adjustments. So yours won't have this line. Don't worry about that. There aren't really many notches on this pattern, but I'm just going to mark this one here, which is this triangle at the bottom, and that will help me when I come to apply the base of my bag. So I should just mark that. It's the halfway point. Oops. And that will provide a nice lining up point for the base of my bag. There's all of our PU or leatherette pieces cut out. So I've got my two strap pieces there, my bag base, my tassel piece, the little patch to hold the tassel at the back, the shoulder strap, and then my 2 main bag panels. Let's move on now to cutting out our linings. I've got my Dashwood twist cotton here for my lining. This is 110 wide, and then I'm going to, this is folded in half, selvage to selvage there. And then I've got my main bag piece here, and then I can fit my bag base along the side there. And then in a minute I can open that up and fit my inside pocket lining. You only need one of these, so actually what I'll do is I will open that up and cut that. This one you're going to cut a pair, this one you're only going to cut one, and this one you're only going to cut one. So what I'll do is I'll cut this out first, then I'll open up the remaining piece of fabric to cut out these other 2 pieces. Make sure that that is lined up with my selvage. And then I'll cut this out. And there's my linings cut out. So I've got my internal pocket, the base of my bag, and my 2 main lining panels. Your fusible fleece for the base of your bag lining is already cut out for you, and so is your Decoville panel. But if you're not using the kit, then you will need to cut out something to stiffen the base of the bag and something to stiffen the lining of the base, something to give it a bit of padding, just to give it that little extra shape. And then we've got a little bit of interfacing to cut out here, so just a piece of facing for the zip pocket, and also for where those snaps are going to go. So I shall just cut that out now, and this does not have to be deadly accurate, it's just going to go on the inside of the lining to reinforce the area where the zip is going to go there, and then to reinforce the area where the magnetic snaps are going to go as well. So I need 2 of those, 1 for each side. There's 1 and 2. I'll put that in the corner, then I have to do less cutting. You could just use any size square as long as it's big enough to cover the area where the snap will be. Lastly, we need to cut out some Bonder web, which is this papery interfacing, and we're going to cut out a strip for our tassel, sort of, what would you call it, a thong, tassel thong, the strip that holds the tassel to your bag. I'm just going to use my ruler and whiz my rotary cutter down there for that one. And then we need to cut this one, which is going to fuse together the fabric ready to make the tassel itself. So you can use a ruler for this, measure out, this is I think 15 centimetres by 30 centimetres. That's that cut out there. Got a bit of spare Bonder web, so just in case you need a bit extra. Everything's cut out, and I thought I'd just lay this out so you can see all those pieces, what's what and what goes where. So there's our finished bag, and these are all the pieces that we've cut out. So you've got your tassel piece here with your Bonder web to fuse it together, and your tassel cap. You've got this piece here, which will eventually make this strap, which attaches the tassel to the front of your bag. And you've got this patch here, which if I reverse the bag, this is this patch here, which will attach your tassel strap onto the back of the bag. So that's what those pieces are. Then you've got your front panels, pretty obvious where they go. Up at the top there, you've got your shoulder panel. And if I open this bag up, you've got your lining pieces, and then you've got your internal pocket. So you've got your zip, your interfacing, your piece of pocket fabric. And then you've got your fusible interfacing there to reinforce the area where your magnetic snap is going to go. And then coming down, you've got the base of the bag here, which will be fused with the Decoville for stiffness, and then you've got your lining, which will be fused with the fusible fleece to give it a bit of extra body. So those pieces correspond to the base of the bag there. And hopefully that will make sense. If you just do a quick checklist to check that you've got everything that you need. The next stage that we're going to do is we're going to do all of the interfacing areas, all the things that need to be fused. We'll do that first. And then we're ready to thread up our machines and crack on with the fun bit, which is the sewing. I've just come over to the ironing board and I thought I would introduce you, if you haven't met her already, which I'm sure you probably have. Hello, this is Kira. And Kira is my sewing buddy. And this bag is actually named after Kira. Whenever I'm doing a bit of sewing, she likes to find me and give me a bit of encouragement and advice. She's very good at that.